And by the way, guys, I started this. You couldn't hear me, but the plan for today is to go game by game doing the start sit. But because my mic wasn't working, I showed up a couple minutes late. I want to start by answering some of your questions. By the way, guys, if you could, I know I started off with the muted mic, but if you could hit the like on the stream, I think our like record is 90. I want to hit 100, and we have 100 people on the stream right now. So if you guys all hit the like, we will hit a like record for these streams. If you're new here, hit the subscribe as well, and let's answer some more of your questions. Drop, bench, hold. What should I do with Ridley? I think you bench Ridley till he has his first good game. Then I would trade him away. Now, I did like Ridley in the pre-draft process, but as we've seen some defenses really step up, this Titans schedule is brutal, so I am going to probably sit him this week. Chase Brown or Henderson? You got to go Chase Brown. Let's see here. Kyron or Jacoby? I would go with Kyron. Omar, thank you for the question here. Benson, Judkins, Mason, Hunt, Henderson, Genty. Guys, Genty for me is leaning more towards a sit, especially if you have guys like Judkins, 96 yards against the Packers and a touchdown, and Benson, who's going to be awesome. Let's just look real quick here at James Conner. And I know James Conner is out, but we want to look at kind of the volume that he have, because all this volume is now going to be going to Benson. So we see in this game, he had 9 rush attempts. Benson had 10. We see the receiving work, 4 targets. Those are going to go to Benson. So I think Benson is going to be an amazing start with the volume that he's going to be able to get. Let's do a couple more here. We got Debo or ETN. Man, I think you go Debo if Terry McLaurin misses the game. Otherwise, I'm going to go with ETN. Who can I get for Garrett Wilson? Honestly, I'd be trying to hold Garrett Wilson, but I'd go for like Quidshot Junkins, Kyron Williams. Start high, go around your league, look for someone who needs a wide receiver, and try to take their best running back or their second best running back. Tet or Pearsall? Pearsall did pop up on the injury report today with a knee injury, but I'm still going to lean Pearsall with all the other injuries the 49ers have going on. All right, guys, we're going to start with the game-by-game breakdown. So glad you guys are here. Literally every start sit for the entire NFL, we're going to talk about in this live stream because we are going game by game. We will not skip any of them. And after each game, we will answer a few of the YouTube starts and sits, but we're going to cover every single start sit. By the way, guys, one of the cool features in the Walter Picks app, I'm sure a lot of you guys already have it, but if you don't, make sure you check it out. The start sit comparison tool you can use for your team. And I'll just show you the My Team tab, actually. So in the My Team tab, it's going to load here. You can click on the best projection, highest boom, lowest bust. So you can check that out. So for me, I'm going for the highest boom. I've got a tough matchup. So I'm starting this lineup here with Aaron Rodgers and probably Calvin Austin as well. So this is also helps you with all your start sits. I'm on the projections team as well, helping you out. So we're going to get started with the first NFL game of the week, and it's the Seahawks versus the Cardinals. Now in this game, I think Trey Benson, I'm going to unsync my league here just so I can get every single player here. And I'm going to go to the start sit comparisons. I want to show you Trey Benson, guys, because he's an amazing start. I'm really excited about him this week. Obviously, sad to see what happened to James Conner. He was such a good player. But we go here. The receptions, the floor is going to be there. The snaps, it's going to be huge. We see the route. The route share is already amazing. So love that for Trey Benson. Target volume, insane. Plus, he's going to have like the 3 or 4 that Conner was getting as well. He could see 8 to 10 targets. He's going to be absolutely elite. And then we see the target per route run, elite. Target share is great as well. He was actually the second most targeted Cardinal in week 2, ahead of Marvin Harrison Jr. So absolutely love Trey Benson. Speaking of Marvin Harrison Jr., I would like to bench him. This week. He's just not looking great. Seattle's defense has been decent. You can see Seattle's defense is number 1 against wide receivers. So for this game, I would be benching Marvin Harrison Jr. He would absolutely need a touchdown to be successful. Other than that, Kyler Murray, a good start. Trey McBride, of course, a good start as well. Maybe not the number 1 tight end of the week. We'll get to that one later on, but obviously a great start. And then the Seattle side of the ball, Zach Charbonnet, he's a bench. We have Cooper Kupp and Ken Walker. Ken Walker, you know, is a start. So let's just talk Cooper Kupp a little bit. He's probably the one person that you're like, ooh, do I start or sit Cooper Kupp? Let's check that one out. So Cooper Kupp here. And guys, if you just joined, we are going to go game by game here. He had a great week 2. Then week 3, he fell off the face of the earth again, unfortunately. Let's see the targets. Only 3 targets. So it was really in that Steelers game where he really stepped up. I think we kind of have to lean towards sitting him in this game with 2 out of his 3 games so far not being super involved. So that's the main thing for this game. If you have questions about this game specifically, drop them in the chat. We're going to answer a couple here. Let's answer a couple start sits. And the phone is low. I'm going to go put this on the charger real quick. All right, we are good to go. We got the phone on the charger, so that's going to be lasting for us. Super flex spot. Dart, Scatterboot, or Brees Hall. I think you got to go Dart. I think we go with the quarterback there. Opinions on McBride. I think he's going to be a great start. He just doesn't score a lot of touchdowns. That's the one negative there. Let's see here. Kyler or Fields? I would go Kyler in this game. Fields coming back. Yeah, good questions. Kobe Myers or Jordan Mason? I probably would go Jordan Mason, even in PPR. Seattle or New England defense? I like the Seattle defense. I think that everybody but Trey Benson is going to struggle a little bit in this game. Trey McBride, he's fine. I guess the Treys for the Arizona Cardinals are fine. But the quarterback, Kyler Murray, he hasn't been throwing a lot of touchdowns, so I am a little bit worried about him. But over Fields, I think he just has the health advantage. But I think that's a great question. So Seattle's defense is a good one here. What should I do with Michael Pittman? I think you keep starting him. I think they're going to be good for the season here. Benson or Scatterboot? I would probably go Trey Benson as a little bit safer option. Scatterboot, it's first game for Jackson Dart. We'll have to see how this offense looks. Trey Benson's going to see a ton of volume as well. So I think Benson is a safer start this week, especially with the volume that he's going to see. Let's jump into game number 2, guys. And again, if you just joined in, we are going game by game. By the way, our like record for the YouTube so far is 91. I believe we have 174 people on the stream. So if you guys could hit that like button, we are trying to break that like record today and push it as high as possible. Avery, he's going live tomorrow. Sam's going live on Sunday. And I personally want to have the highest liked video of the week. So if you guys could help me out, we'll set a big challenge for them to try to beat and hitting that like button and that subscribe as well. The next game of the week is in Dublin, Ireland. And guys, just a little something about myself. Just this summer, I started playing Gaelic football in hurling. I don't play hurling, but I've been playing some Gaelic football. If you guys don't know that, it's a really fun sport that's based out of Ireland, and I met a lot of great Irish people playing Gaelic football. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm really excited to watch this game in Ireland. There's some amazing NFL fans there, and that's probably where my excitement stops for this game as a Steelers fan, because the Vikings looked really good last week with Carson Wentz. I think Jordan Mason is definitely the start of the week. We have to talk about Jordan Addison as well. Lots of Jordans here, lots of double names. We had Trey McBride and Trey Benson. Now we have Jordan Mason and Jordan Addison. But I think Jordan Mason is an amazing start in this game. We saw last week he had over 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. I know he's playing the Bengals, but come on. His rush attempts weren't even that high. So it wasn't even that. I mean, he's got volume coming his way like crazy against Pittsburgh. And you can see they haven't even been that good against the run. Now, the one thing I want to mention about Jordan Mason, the schedule for the next 4 weeks after that, including a bye week, is really, really terrible. The fantasy football playoffs is fine, but he is probably going to go through a little bit of a rough patch here. So I am definitely going to start him this week. And then Jordan Addison, on the other hand, I would prefer to sit. Obviously, we don't know exactly what he's going to be able to produce. We have him in the Walter Picks app projected for 12 points. I think that's a pretty good projection, but I am a little bit worried about Jordan Addison this week. First game back, facing the Steelers. I definitely like Jordan Addison. Obviously, Justin Jefferson. TJ Hawkinson is interesting as well. I'm not pumped on him. Honestly, if you have other guys, I'm sure you probably do with how he started the season, but I am worried about him because while he did have 5 catches for 49 yards and a touchdown, we also see here that the snaps was pretty good, not great. The routes, pretty good, not great. Now, obviously, they dominated the game, so you can't take that too seriously. 6 targets was his best. Target share, 25th percentile. But I am still worried about TJ Hawkinson. The Steelers do have some good linebackers. And when we go to the matchup tab in the Walter Picks app, it's going to show us how the Steelers have been doing against other tight ends. So Hunter Henry did pop off last week. I will call that out. But A.J. Barner did well week 1. Week 2, they held the tight ends down. So I'm not sure if this is a Hunter Henry thing. I think it more kind of is for the Patriots. Hunter Henry had 9 targets week 1, 11 targets in week 3. So I think this is more of a Hunter Henry thing than a TJ Hawkinson gonna pop off kind of thing. But I'm not excited about him this week. So I would go with other options if you do have other options available for you. Let's say the Steelers, I'm benching everybody except Jalen Warren. Honestly, DK Metcalf is a bench. Aaron Rodgers is a bench. Calvin Austin. Anybody else for the Steelers? The defense, I think, is a bench as well. The only Steelers player I'm going to start is Jalen Warren. The only other guy you may want to start in a deeper league is Jonnu Smith. He's been decent as well, but it's really Jalen Warren as the main starter for the Steelers. Let's answer a couple more questions, guys. And if you just joined in, people will always be joining here, so I'm just going to repeat this. We're going game by game. We've already done Seahawks, Cardinals. We've done Steelers, Vikings. Make sure you set your lineups early for that one. By the way, that game starts at, let me see here, 8:30 a.m. Central Time. So that is something to watch out for. You want to have those lineups set for Sunday. And after each game, we're going to answer a few start-sit questions. So let's answer one here. Trade Chase Brown and CD for James Cook and Judy. Chase Brown, I don't have a lot of faith in. Judy, I don't have like any faith in. This Browns team is pretty bad, but you get James Cook for CD Lamb. So I think that's actually a pretty good trade because James Cook is going to help you win now. So I like that trade. Genty or Montgomery, I would go with, wow, that's tough. I've got Montgomery on my sit list this week. I would go with Genty. Not that I love either one of those. Should I trade Quentin Johnson and Pickens for Hill? I probably wouldn't. Quentin Johnston has been better. So I would keep with what you have. Start Hurts or Geno Smith. Definitely go Hurts. Darts or May. I'd probably go May. May had a pretty good week last week against the Steelers in terms of the rushing. Jamar Chase or Henderson. Got to go Jamar Chase. Sit one, Pittman, McMillan, Pearsall, Benson, or Hubbard. That's a tough one. I think I would probably sit... Man, Hubbard stands out. Let's see how good Hubbard was last week, and then we'll jump to the next game on the week. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Again, if you just joined in, we're trying to set a new like record here today. We need 92 at least. We're going for an over 100. We're trying to set a tough record for Avery to beat in tomorrow's live and Sam to beat on Sunday. Yeah, I think I'd sit Hubbard in that game. Let's jump to the next game of the week, which is going to be Commanders-Falcons. Very tough game for the Commanders and the Falcons. We've got Deebo Samuel, who's definitely on the edge of the start. Excuse me. Wow. Who's on the edge of the starts and sits. They absolutely crushed the Raiders, but Marcus Mariota at quarterback kind of let this down. Look, he didn't play much in this game. I guess I'd have to double check. Let's check his summary here. Make sure we didn't have anything here. Roto-Baller agreed with Walter Picks. I'm not going to shame Roto-Baller here because, man, I thought he was a good option in week 3 as well. But I think Deebo Samuel with Marcus Mariota, we're going to have to probably sit on the bench. Terry McLaurin's injured, so if Terry McLaurin plays, Deebo Samuel definitely sit. If he misses, you may want to increase Deebo Samuel and Zach Ertz a little bit. But I think I'm trying to set pretty much every Commander in this game, which is a shame because they probably will score a good amount of points. But the Commanders, you never know who it's going to be. Is it going to be Chris Rodriguez? Ja'Cory Cross-Merritt, Bill Cross-Merritt, he scored at the very end of the game. He wasn't getting much run. I think maybe the only Commander you can start is Marcus Mariota because we just don't know where the ball is going to go. And then on the Falcons side of the ball, we're starting Drake London. We're starting Bijan Robinson. I think the only question is Darnell Mooney. I think you can start Kyle Pitts as well. If he's your best tight end, he's a good tight end to start. Darnell Mooney, I do think is interesting because he had 11 targets in week 3. 11 targets is pretty insane, but he still only had 8.4 fantasy points. So I'd lean away from starting Darnell Mooney. So I think the main starts in this game is Marcus Mariota if you need a quarterback. And then I think the Falcons, obviously there's the Bijan, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, and Darnell Mooney is a risky but high upside play for us. The next game is going to be Saints and Bills, but let's answer a couple more questions here, guys. Fannin or Kincaid? You know, I honestly would go Kincaid. I'm not a big Kincaid fan, but the Bills do score a lot more points than the Browns, and that's going to give him an advantage. Should I drop Jamar for Igbuka? I don't know what kind of league you're playing in, but I think Igbuka will be better this week. Chase Brown, Genty, Judkins, or Pollard? I'm definitely going to go Judkins, and then I'm probably going to go Genty as well. Let's see here. Warren, Johnson, or Sutton at the flex. I think I like Sutton a lot this week. We're going to get to that game against the Bengals, but I think Sutton is in line for a great game. All right, let's do another game, the Saints and Bills, and then we'll jump back to some starts and sits. So I just want to start kind of quickly with Chris Olave, guys. I think for everybody here, if you don't have him on your team, he's a great trade for target. So far this season, 12, 11, 15 points, receptions 7, 6, and 10. Yards have all been in the 50s every time, no touchdowns. And then we go over to the snaps, elite route rate, targets, elite 13, 10, 14. Now, they're not the highest quality targets, as you can tell, but I do think he's a must trade for target and a great start week to week. I am worried about Alvin Kamara, though. Let's look up Alvin Kamara. One of the things he absolutely needs to be great is those targets. And we see receptions in week 1, 2. Receptions in week 3, 1. Let's look at the targets as well. Rush attempts has been good, but the targets just haven't been there. So I think Alvin Kamara is leaning a little bit more towards a sit than a start at this point, especially with just the lack of targets and facing the Bills this week. For the Bills, I think the only start is Josh Allen. I like Matt Prater as a kicker. I like the defense. So for players, though, James Cook is obviously a start as well, but I'm not going with any of the receivers. I'm not going Keon Coleman, not Khalil Shear, not Josh Paul. I don't care. I'm not really trying to start anybody. Even Dalton Kincaid for me is more of like not a top tier tight end, but still a fine top 12 for sure. He may be the best tight end on your team, but I'm not super excited about any of these Bills pass catchers because they just spread the ball around way too much. So I think our main starts are just Josh Allen, of course, James Cook, of course. I like Matt Prater. I like the defense, and Dalton Kincaid is kind of that edge player that I still think could be good this week. The next game is Browns versus Lions. Some very interesting start sits there, but let's answer a couple more questions here. Higgins, Moore, or Ridley? I think I'm going to go with DJ Moore there. I like the matchup the Bears have this week. Worthy or Tet? I would go with Tet probably. Tet probably a little bit more consistent target share here. Keenan or Igbuka? I'd probably go Igbuka this week with Mike Evans out. I like that. Igbuka has been scoring touchdowns with Mike Evans out. That increases the chances he'll score a touchdown this week, I believe. Let's see here. Should I trade Jordan Mason and Dalton Schultz for Ken Walker and Juwan Johnson? I would do that. Jordan Mason probably will be better than Ken Walker until Aaron Jones comes back. But Ken Walker's awesome, and Juwan Johnson's been great as well. Amazing target share. You can definitely start him all year, it looks like. Let's answer a couple more here. Hawkinson or Ertz? I would go with Hawkinson, John. And John, make sure you are subscribed because we've already talked about both those guys. And we didn't love either one, but I do think Hawkinson with Carson Wentz is a better option than he has been over the course of the season. Let's see. Let's answer a couple more here. Well, let's do one more, and then we'll jump to the next game. Let's see here. Should I put Scatterbo on the flex? Yes, Ruben. Scatterbo is a great flex this week. Let's do the next game, which is Browns versus Lions. And guys, Quidshot Judkins, he is a great start. I've been trying to trade for him all week. Unfortunately, a lot of people really value him highly as well. But what he did against the Packers was amazing. 94 yards, a touchdown. The snap share, it's going to keep increasing. The rush share, 94%. He's taken every single touch. And I know he played the Packers. I know he's got Denver, but this is a better matchup. I mean, the Packers defense is one of the best in the league. So I do think Judkins is an amazing start this week. On the Browns team, I don't think I'm starting anyone else. Judy has been awful. Judy, I believe, was on my do not draft list. I may not have put him there, but I definitely didn't draft Judy at all myself. Jerry, let's do Jerry because I'm spelling Judy wrong. Geudy. Jerry Judy has not been good. 11-9-2. I think he's got to be on the bench. Even against Detroit, they're going to be trying to pass the ball. 8-8-5. They just can't get Judy the ball. So I got to sit Judy this week. Got to start Judkins. Got to sit Njoku. And I think I'd try to sit Fannin as well. All of these guys, they just don't score enough touchdowns for them to be able to get there with the yards or the receptions. So I think Judkins is the only start for the Browns. Now for the Lions, I'm not going to start Laporta. Laporta has not been good this year. This is another case of the, great week one. Another case of the great week one and not really good anything else. We see week one, 13 points. Week two, unstartable. He had 4 targets, 4 receptions, but Khalif Raymond had 2 targets. Isaac Tesla had 2 targets, and this week they're facing Cleveland. I also am not going to start David Montgomery. I'm still going to start Gibbs because he's going to have that great receiving work, but I think Montgomery is a mistake to start this week. Obviously, he was amazing last week, but week 1 against Green Bay, and Cleveland is even better, guys. They shut down Josh Jacobs really well, except the only reason Josh Jacobs even hit double-digit fantasy points was that he had 5 catches. So I think David Montgomery is a sit this week for the Lions. Other than that, you can start your players. Jared Goff could be a sit as well if you have other good options. But the main starts, obviously, I think Jamison Williams, you can start. Amon-Ra St. Brown, you can start. Jahmyr Gibbs, you can start. And then Quidshot Judkins is the other start for this game. Let's answer a couple more questions. Igbuka or Pearsall? I'd go Igbuka this week with the Mike Evans injury. JSN Neighbors, JJ Benson, Mason Judd can sit 1. I think I'd probably sit Mason of that group. Probably sit Mason, or you could sit, if you don't want to risk it on Thursday night, you could sit Benson. Monty, Hubbard, or Ridley in the flex. I would probably go with Hubbard there. Jalen Warren, Johnston, Sutton, Dobbins. Wow, that's a great group. I probably would go Jalen Warren and Sutton, but if you want to go double wide receiver, you could go Johnston and Sutton there. I do really like the Broncos matchup this week. Dobbins is obviously a great start as well. You have a good problem. All those players should do great this week. Addison or JMO, it's tough because the Steelers defense has been pretty bad. The Browns defense has been really good. I probably would go with Addison because I'm expecting maybe a couple more catches. Should I trade Addison and Mecca Igbuka for Trey Benson and Khalil Shakir? I would not. You could probably do better than that. Trade Dobbins for Jenkins. Are we saying Judkins? Who's Jenkins? I think Judkins, I would trade him for Judkins. All right, let's get to the next game here. And by the way, guys, if you just joined in, we're trying to break the like record, which is 91. I'm not sure where we're at right now, but even if we pass that, we're trying to set a record that's going to be tough for Avery and Sam to beat Thursday and Sunday. So if you could hit that like, I appreciate it, guys. We're going game by game here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe so you don't miss any of the action next time. We're moving on to Panthers and Patriots. And I think the main start in this game is Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry has been pretty elite, guys, and I think he's a great start for your team if you got him off waiver wire. Week 1, he had 9 targets, I believe. Let's double check. Yep, 8 targets. Week 3, he had 11 targets. This game against Carolina, they've been super weak against the tight end as well. So I think Hunter Henry, amazing start. Ramondre Stevenson had 2 fumbles against the Steelers. Antonio Gibson had 1 fumble. I don't think we can start any of the Patriots running backs in this game. It is simply too risky. So I think I'd be benching pretty much every Patriot. I like Drake May. Kayshon Boutte could be a start as well. But I think Hunter Henry is the main start to look for the Patriots. And for the Panthers, I think Tet is a great start. A lot of people asking, should I start or sit Tet? I think Tet is a great start. He didn't do the best last week against Atlanta, but New England's secondary has been one of the worst this season. And we see the targets, 9, 10, 8. That kind of volume every single week, I think, will make Tet McMillan a good start this week. And then Chuba Hubbard, I'm not super pumped on him, but I still think he's a good start as well. Not my favorite start, I think, but he's flex worthy at the very least. He's had 2 great weeks to start the season. Didn't do the best against Atlanta, but overall a solid week and a solid matchup against the Patriots. Not the easiest, not the hardest, so I think Hubbard could go into your lineups as well. I don't think I'm missing any special teams plays either. I don't think I'd play either defense in this game. So I think it's just mainly Hunter Henry, Drake May, Chuba Hubbard, and Tet McMillan. I don't think I'm missing anybody there. Let's go to a couple questions here and see what you guys have in the YouTube chat. We're going to be bouncing back and forth, of course. Henry or Kraft? I would go with Henry, I think, this week with Kraft coming back off the injury. Drake May or Caleb Williams? I think we got to go Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams has been amazing for fantasy football so far. Let's see here. Drake May, let's see here. Henry or Kraft? We did that one. I'm scrolling here. Let's see here. What should I trade a Brown? And if so, what for? I think you're talking Chase Brown. It's hard to tell, guys. There's a lot of players, AJ Brown, Chase Brown. There's a lot of players with the last name Brown. But Chase Brown, I think he's a good trade away target. You just got to shop around and see what someone's willing to pay. The Bengals schedule does get a lot easier, guys. I'll just show you that real quick. We will talk about the Bengals in a few minutes here. But Chase Brown, we'll just look at him real quick. The schedule gets a lot easier when they start facing Pittsburgh, the Jets, Chicago, Pittsburgh, New England, Baltimore, Buffalo, Baltimore, Miami, Arizona. After Green Bay, they've played a pretty tough schedule so far. After Green Bay, the schedule is a lot easier for the rest of the year. So that's the one reason to kind of hold on to Chase Brown, at least for now. Let's jump into that next game, which is going to be the Chargers and the Giants. Really exciting game here because Omarion Hampton, man, he popped off in the last game. I think he's a start rest of the season. We've got him locked into a high value. He had 6 receptions, 1 rushing touchdown, but the 6 receptions is crazy work on 7 targets. If he can keep seeing 7 targets a game, he could be the RB1 by the end of the season. 24 points in a high-powered, high-scoring offense. This is going to be absolutely amazing, Omarion Hampton. I think you can start Ladd as well. One thing I want to show you about Ladd, guys, one thing you will not hear on any other page is that Ladd McConkey was the only Chargers wide receiver who was on the field for 100% of dropbacks. That means opportunity. The route percentage is absolutely elite, nearly 100%. Snaps is elite. The snap percentage is elite. The route, everything is elite coming from these Chargers offense. So I still think Ladd McConkey is a player you want to trade for. I think the volume and the targets and the touchdowns will eventually be there. It's just going to take a little bit of time. So I do really like Ladd McConkey. I like Quentin Johnston, like Keenan Allen. Pretty much everybody on this Chargers team you can start. Now for the Giants, that's the big question because we've got Jackson Dart in his first ever game. I wrote Drat. Maybe that is an omen there. But we got Jackson Dart, hasn't obviously played at all so far. The one concern for Jackson Dart is just the turnovers. He's facing the Chargers. It's a tough defense. It's his first game. He's probably going to need to pass the whole game because the Chargers, they're going to be scoring points. Plus, their defense is good. I like Cam Scatterbo. I'm not thinking he's going to be as good as he was last week. But hey, the Chiefs' rush defense is great, and Scatterbo was still awesome. So I think Scatterbo is a great start this week. There's obviously better starts, but I still think he's a great start this week. Malik Neighbors, I think you can still start this week. Those are really the only 2 that I go for the Giants. Jackson Dart, I would try to pick him up off waivers. You never know. I think it is kind of hard to prepare for players who are in their first game because they just don't have the film. The offense will look different than it did with Russell Wilson. So I do like picking up Jackson Dart, making sure if he has a good week, you can maybe trade him away. But overall, there's not too many starts in this game for the Giants except from Malik Neighbors and Cam Scattaboo. Let's check out the YouTube live and see if there's any more questions here. Trade Benson or hold? I would look to hold Benson. I think he's going to have a great first game. His value will increase after this first game. Start Worthy or Jennings? I would go Jennings. First game back. Ramos says flex Higgins or Benson. I would go with Benson. Chase Brown or Judkins rest of the season? Easily Judkins. Easily Judkins for me. By the way, guys, if you just joined in, we are going game by game, and we're also trying to set a new like record for the season. The like record is 91. If you guys hit that like button right now, we can smash that record right now. There's 145 people watching, and we're trying to set a new record that Avery and Sam will have a hard time to beat. So that's the goal for tonight. So make sure you hit that subscribe as well. And let's jump into our next game, which is Eagles versus Buccaneers. Now, I got some exciting news for you guys. Chris Godwin practiced in full today. So Baker Mayfield, amazing start still. Emeka Egbuka, great start. Chris Godwin, I'm not excited about starting him in his first game back off this big injury, but if you have to, you could start Godwin as well. What's his name? Bucky Irving. Man, Bucky Irving, he's going to be great as well. So I think you can start all of those guys in this game. When it goes over to the Eagles side of the ball, though, I think A.J. Brown has another good game. I am looking to trade him away, though. The problem with A.J. Brown is that the most games the Eagles will not need to pass that much. They just simply won't. Even though they did week 1, he still didn't get involved. So I'm not super excited about this guy for the season. Like, look at the Raiders here. Week 15. The Eagles are going to run all over them, and he's not going to be involved. Then they play Washington and Buffalo. I'm worried a little bit about A.J. Brown being consistent. I do like him, though, this week. Devonta Smith, I'm not loving Devonta Smith this week. I'd rather go A.J. Brown, Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts. Dallas Goedert's okay if you need someone, but those are really the only starts for me for the Eagles. By the way, both these teams are 3-0 right now, so that's pretty exciting for the Buccaneers and the Eagles. I wouldn't start either defense. Not excited about either kicker, by the way. The Eagles are only favored by 3.5 points. This game is in Tampa Bay, but I am excited to see this game. 2 3-0 teams. And I think the Rams kind of showed off a few ways that you can at least be competitive with the Eagles so far. So that's going to be a really fun game. Mike Evans is out, guys, by the way. So Egbuka and Godwin both are looking pretty good as well. So like that matchup. The next game is Titans 0-3 versus Texans 0-3. A battle for the division there because, man, this division is pretty rough. Well, I guess the Colts are pretty awesome. So I'll give the Colts that. Colts are going to run away with this division. They may clinch by week 9 if these teams continue like this. But let's talk a couple more YouTube questions here. Jacobs or Dobbins? I would go with who are the Packers playing? Let me just double check on Jacobs. I love Dobbins this week, man. He's got such a good matchup. Let's check Jacobs. Let's check Jacobs matchups and let's do the player compare tool. I think this is a good one to do the player compare tool on. So let's compare here. And we had Sam Laporta in there on accident. Let me just get him out of here. I can't get him out of here without clearing the whole thing. So I'm just going to leave him in there for now. We'll see Sam Laporta's stats as well. But the fantasy points projection is a little bit higher for Jacobs. He's facing Dallas. I think I would go Jacobs. I do like the matchup against Dallas. I like the potential for him to score multiple touchdowns. So I would go Jacobs. Let's clear that out for the next one, though. Let's see here. Caleb Williams, Bo Nix, or Purdy. I would go Caleb Williams. He's just been the best so far. Someone offered Lamar Jackson and Rashee Rice for Jamar Chase. Yeah, I would definitely take that. No questions asked there. Should I trade away Brian Thomas Jr.? I wouldn't. I think you just got to wait for the first big game. Williams versus Jones. You got to include first names, guys. There's too many Williams and too many Jones. Should I trade C.J. Stroud for Geno Smith? I would. Genty or Benson? I would go Benson, actually, unfortunately. DJ Moore or Tony Pollard? I'd probably go Tony Pollard. Kyler or Tua? I would go with Kyler. Which waiver wire pickup do I do? Let's see here. Let's try to get that waiver wire one. Sampson for Kupp, Mooney, or Charbonnet. I think I would grab Mooney. He had 11 targets last week. Pick 2, Fannin, Golden, Ridley, and K9. I definitely would go K9. And if it's tight end premium, I think you do got to go Fannin. I like that one as well. Let's jump into the next game, guys. And again, we're going game by game. It's Titans and Texans. We won't spend too much time on this one. Not too exciting. I'm going to sit Calvin Ridley. I'm going to sit Nick Chubb, because Woody Marks is taking over, guys. One guy that may still even be on waivers in your leagues is Woody Marks. And he's been growing in his snap share every week. I want to show you guys this because it's just not going to be covered everywhere. Week 1, 11%, 26%, 47%. If that snap share keeps increasing, Woody Marks is going to take over this role. And I do think he's a great person to add off the waiver wire. But I'm sitting everybody for the Texans except Nico Collins. For the Titans, the only person you may want to start aside from Pollard is Alec Aomanor, who's been really good so far. He's been a top target. He's been a red zone target as well. So I think that Alec is a okay start this week. I mean, it's obviously not the best because he's been pretty touchdown reliant, but scoring touchdowns, being a top target for Cam Ward is good. Plus, he's got the easiest matchups he's had so far this season. So I'm trying to sit most of the Titans, though. I think Tony Pollard is the only main start that we have for this game. All right, let's answer a couple more questions here in the YouTube. Man, I'm losing my voice here. Tootin, Harvey, and Woody start one. I would go with, gotta go Tootin in this game here. Let's see here. Trade Amon-Ra, Pacheco, and Higgins for Hampton, Roman, Ladd. Oh, Ben, that is an easy W. Yeah, lock that in, Ben. By the way, Ben, if you haven't hit like and subscribe, please do, man. Please do. Keenan Allen or Debo. Got to go Keenan Allen. Kenneth Walker or Jalen Warren. I probably would go Ken Walker. Arizona is not the strongest team here. Let's see here. Should I trade Jay Jettis for Hampton and Adunze? Yeah. Uzman, I would definitely do that. 100%. Is it worth trading my bench players for CD? Yeah, 100%. I would definitely do that as well. Some great trade questions, guys. Love these ones. Kelsey or Hunter? I would go Hunter. Hunter Henry has been better, honestly. Let's just call it what it is. Let's see here. Do I trade Emeka Egbuka or McMillan for Amari and Hampton? I would definitely trade Egbuka. Evans is going to be back at some point as well. Let's see here. I don't know who the first person is, hey, but Thornton is a fine start this week. Not amazing, but I think he's okay. Trade Pearsall for Jacoby Myers straight up. I probably would hold on to Pearsall personally. Henry or Juwan Johnson, man, don't get me started about Derrick Henry, man. He really let us down on Sunday. He got stuffed on the goal line 3 times. Huge fumble. Man, he cost me my matchup. And let's not even say he had plenty of opportunity to win me my matchup as well. I'm not excited about him, but I'd start him over Johnson. Terry for BTJ, I would do that trade. Daniel Jones or Caleb Williams? I'd probably go Caleb Williams. He's just been a little bit better. I do like Daniel Jones a lot, though. What do you think of Rome? He got saved. Rome's not getting saved, man. He's not getting saved. He dropped another touchdown. Let me just show you this real quick. Not only is he wide receiver 3, he also has the snap percentage is huge. The route percentage is around 90%, which is elite. The targets have been great as well. And they pretty much dominated last week. Let's just call it what it is. They dominated. And any sort of closer game, he's going to do even better. So I do like Rome a lot. This target share is elite as well. So I'm not scared about Rome. I think he's going to be great all season long. Let's jump to the next game. Just taking a second to catch my breath here. Colts versus Rams. Now, one of the things I am worried about is one of our laws. One of the things we talk about is the Colts have always taken away the number 1 wide receiver. And I think this week it's going to be Devonta Adams because I don't see how you take away a short yardage kind of slot receiver like Cooper Kupp. But let's go to the matchup tab. You're going to see Tyreek Hill, Calvin Ridley, and Courtland Sutton struggle here. Tyreek Hill, under 10 points. Courtland Sutton, under 2 points. And Calvin Ridley, under 4 points. The number 1 wide receiver against the Colts has been terrible. The wide receiver 2 has dominated. But I think in this game, the wide receiver 1 that fits the Tyreek Hill, Courtland Sutton, and Calvin Ridley role is Devontae Adams. So I am kind of scared to start him. I think one of these wide receivers will have a down week. Other than that, Kyron, definitely start. Daniel Jones, definitely start. Pittman, definitely start. Tyler Warren, definitely start. Josh Downs, you can drop. And I think that's the main thing for this game is the Devonta Adams I am a little bit worried about. So you could sit him this week if you have other good options. And the Colts side of the ball, I don't really think there's too many question marks. I think we know who we're starting. And Michael Pittman Jr., by the way, guys, he's been awesome. Let's just check him out real quick. Let's give him some flowers because that's a guy that a lot of people drafted pretty late this year. He's a top 12 wide receiver. He just needed a quarterback. That's really all he needed. He's doing an excellent job so far. And we saw A.J. Brown have a pretty good week last week. So I like Michael Pittman Jr. as well. Let's jump back into the YouTube questions here. We got start to Scatterboo, Tay, or Tet. I would go with Scatterboo and probably Tet. I'd sit. That's an example where I would sit Tay. Start Downs. He's done nothing. No, you can drop him. He's been the wide receiver 3. And with Jonathan Taylor crushing, Daniel Jones crushing, Michael Pittman Jr. crushing, Alex Pierce, Tyler Warren, if I didn't say him already, he's just not a good option. I'm offered this trade. I give Nico Collins and Marvin Harrison. I get Brian Thomas Jr., Breece Hall, Engram. I would not do that trade. BTJ, Moore, or Debo. I would probably go Moore with the matchup here. Hunter Henry, Juwan Johnson. I think Hunter Henry is a good start. Let's see here. DJ Moore. Let's do a different one. Drop him. Yeah, you can drop him. He hasn't been involved. Sutton or Dobbins. I'm going Sutton, J-Way, if it's PPR. Quinton, Worthy, Dobbs, need to. I'd probably go Quinton and Worthy. Ben, you can send me your team on TikTok. I may see it there. Just do it right after I post. That's when I see the comments the most. By the way, guys, if you just joined in, make sure you hit that like. We're trying to set a new like record for the season that will be tough for Avery to beat and Sam to beat. And if you guys hit that like everybody did right now, we would set the new record. So I appreciate you guys. Make sure you subscribe as well. We're going game by game here, having some fun. Ladd or Keenan? I would go with Keenan. He's just been better, but I do think Ladd is going to find it one of these weeks soon and be great for the rest of the season. Penix or Dart? I would go with Dart. What type of return for Rice or Godwin? Guys, Rice will be a top 5 receiver when he comes back. He was number 2 last year before the injury, and I think he will be top 5 when he comes back. So Rashee Rice is going to be awesome. You have to get a huge return if you're going to trade him away. Kind of for Godwin, definitely a lot less, more of like a flex to wide receiver 2 range, I think. But that's why I'm trying to trade him away today before he plays and try to get him for like a 15-point per game player. That's what I'd be trying to get. And that may or may not happen based on your league mates. Drop Travis Hunter. That's a player I'd like to kind of try to trade just because some people may be like, I've got some hope for him. Try to trade him. But if not, yeah, you could drop him. Jaden Daniels or Caleb. I'd probably go Caleb Williams. He's just been awesome, and Jaden Daniels coming back from the injury. Monty or Debo? I've got Monty. I'd probably go Debo. I'm 0-3 in a 2-quarterback league. Who should I start, Jackson Dart or Aaron Rodgers? I probably would go Jackson Dart. He's got the matchup isn't insane, but Aaron Rodgers against the Vikings, I don't love. I don't love that. Devonta Adams, Keenan, or Buka. I'd probably sit Devonta Adams. He's facing the Colts. That's going to be a tough matchup. Let's get to this next game. Jaguars, we got a lot of games left. Jaguars versus the 49ers. For the 49ers, we're definitely going to be starting Purdy. If he plays, I think is a good start. Pearsall, if he plays, is a good start. Christian McCaffrey. I'm probably going to sit everybody else for the 49ers. On the Jaguars side, Travis Etienne. Man, this one's tough. I think that's mainly your main start. Brian Thomas Jr., let's just look at him real quick. Let's look at Brian Thomas Jr. Let's add him to the start sit, and then let's look at Parker Washington. Wow. Parker Washington. Yep. Let's compare. So far, let's look at their stats. Receiving stats so far. Target share so far, Brian Thomas Jr. is leading, but not by a crazy amount. Reception per game, Parker Washington is leading Brian Thomas Jr. Absolutely insane. Yards per route run, air yards share, everything. But Parker Washington had 11 targets in week 3. I am pretty scared about this offense. I'm not looking to start anybody but probably Travis Etienne in this game for the Jaguars. I'm not so worried about Brian Thomas Jr., but I'm not rushing to start him if I have other good options. Let's jump to the Ravens and Chiefs as well. They are both 1-2. Absolutely insane. Thanks to Derrick Henry, honestly, fumbling the football. I am worried about him. If he continues to fumble, he just won't play. Like, let's just be honest. He just won't play if he continues to fumble. He also hasn't been good. He had a touchdown last game and only 10 fantasy points. That's simply not good. He's not getting receptions. This is bad news for Derrick Henry. I don't think you have to start him. I'll just be honest. So far this season, great week 1, week 2, unstartable, week 3, unstartable. Kansas City, number 6 against running backs. You do not have to start Derrick Henry this week. I will free you from that. If you have other good players, you can bench him. On the Chiefs side of the ball, I'm not really starting anyone except I'm not really trying to start Worthy his first week back. We don't know how much he's going to play. I don't love Kelsey in this game. He has not looked good. So Mahomes is definitely the start. I think any of his downfield options, you can't start him because if Worthy's back. So I think the only start in this game is Lamar Jackson. Zay Flowers even struggled as well last game. I'd probably still start Zay Flowers. Mark Andrews, I'm not excited about. See if he can go back-to-back. I don't know if he can. So it's really Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. The running backs, you don't have to start any of them. I'm really not excited about any of the running backs. So this is a big issue. If Derrick Henry's backup is available in your league, I would add him. I would add him for sure. Let's do another game because we're running short on time here. We're going to be live for like the next 15 minutes. But I want to make sure I get through all the games here. Bears and Raiders. For the Bears, you have to start Caleb Williams. He's been amazing. Let's check out Caleb Williams really quick, guys. He struggled last year, but he's been awesome. He's been awesome so far. Let's look at this. He's quarterback 3, 24, 18, 29. He's been elite. He's got a good matchup. Start Caleb Williams for sure this week. DeAndre Swift, you don't have to start. He's actually a sit for me. The Raiders are really good against the run, or let's say they're bad against the pass. I'm going to start Rome Odunze. I like DJ Moore. That's probably where I'm stopping for the Bears. And then for the Raiders side of the ball, you have Ashton Genty. You don't have to start him, guys. He hasn't been good. Let's take a quick look at Genty, guys. It's been 3 weeks. If someone hasn't been good for 3 straight weeks, you do not have to start him. He's RB34. He is 1 week over 10 points. And that week he scored a touchdown. No receptions last week. So I don't think you have to start him. Chicago, thankfully, is a good matchup. But if you have other players like Jordan Mason, Trey Benson, you don't have to start Genty in your starting lineup this week. Jacoby Myers, great start. Brock Bowers, great start. I think Geno Smith's all right. I'm not super pumped about Geno Smith. He did have a good week last week, but you don't have to force him into your lineup. So I think that's the Bears and the Raiders. Now we got 3 more games, but let's answer a couple more YouTube Live questions here. Should I drop Calvin Ridley and pick up T. Higgins? I would. Ooh, wow. I would do that because maybe the Bengals get like maybe the Bengals trade for a quarterback. That's really the hope there. Kirk or Debo? I would go with Debo. Dobbins, Warren, or Johnston. This week I'm torn. Yeah, I agree. I probably would go with Dobbins against the Bengals. That's a great matchup. Let's see here. Higgins or Godwin? I would go with Godwin. You can't play Higgins, guys. You're saying if someone hasn't been good, you don't have to start them, but you say start Drake London. Yeah, let's look at that. I think that if you have good volume, that's something I like. When you have good volume and you've been terrible, that's a little bit different. So let's look at Drake London. That's a fair question, a fair call out. Yeah, Drake London hasn't been good either. Let's check his target share. I mean, like his snap percentage, his route rate in the hundreds, in the 90s, his targets with 15, 4, and 8, I think are good. And I think the Falcons fired their passing coach coordinator. Let's see if that's in the summary from the news here. No, it doesn't say that, but I think that the Falcons fired one of their coaches. And when you fire a coach and you bring in a new coach, that new coach is like, get this guy the ball, get Pitts the ball, get London the ball, make the pass attack look better. So that's one of the other reasons I like the Falcons this week. I didn't talk about that earlier, but when you fire a coach, I think the stars shine the next game because that's what the new coach is going to try to do. What can I do to make the stars shine? That's what's going to make the team love me. That's going to make the people love me. That's going to make the players love me. So I think that's going to be the main game plan is get London the ball, get Pitts the ball, make this passing attack shine a little bit more, give Penix some easy throws. That's why I like the Falcons a little bit more. But that's a fair call out, Nicholas. I completely appreciate that call out for that. Let's see here. Achane or Dobbins? I think we got to go Achane. I really like that. T or Wandale this week? I think, that's really rough. I'd probably go T. Higgins chasing a touchdown. How do I feel about Trey Tucker? I think you can actually start him, guys. I think you can actually start Trey Tucker. Let's go to the start sit comparison tool. Let me see here. Trey Tucker. I think you can actually start him. The thing I like about him a lot is that he had great volume. That's what I really liked about this game. 8 catches. 145 yards, 3 touchdowns. The touchdowns is great, but that's not going to be there every week. But a big play player with 8 targets, 9 targets, that's going to be insane. So I think Trey Tucker is good. Plus, look at the schedule. Chicago, the Colts, who are going to try to take away Jacoby Myers. So Trey Tucker's your guy. Tennessee, Kansas City, Jacksonville. I like the schedule a lot. And then in the fantasy playoffs, he's got some pretty good matches as well. Houston and the Giants. So I think Trey Tucker is a great player to have. I think you can actually start him a little bit too. And by the way, we got a couple new people joining the live. We are going to be live for the next 15 minutes or so. And if you guys haven't yet, hit that like. We're trying to set a new record. That's going to make it hard for Avery to beat on Sunday and hard for Avery to beat tomorrow and Sam to beat on Sunday. So make sure you hit that like. If you're new, hit that subscribe. We are going game by game. 6 more likes. And we have 100 likes. Okay, John. Thank you, John. Guys, we have 100 people here. Let's get those 6 likes. Let's get to 100. We need to hit those triple digits, guys. Appreciate it. London or Keenan Allen? I think, Nicholas, go Keenan Allen. That's fine with me. Keenan Allen's been better. London or Quentin Johnson? I'd go Quentin Johnson. I think you guys are, fair call out of me, guys. London hasn't been that great. Guys, hit that like. Come on, let's get to 100. Come on, baby. We're so close. Yes, you like the video. Thank you, Nicholas. And again, guys, I take criticism. I take feedback. I think you guys are making some great points out there. Kraft or Kincaid? That's a tough one. I probably would play Kraft, but I don't think you can go wrong either way. Worthy, Brian Thomas, Ridley, or Gold? Start 2. That's a tough one. I think you got to go Golden. He's been close to a breakout. And then I probably would go Brian Thomas because I expect just a better volume. I expect the better volume there. Let's see here. Derrick Henry and Chris Godwin for Barkley. I would definitely do that trade to get Barkley for sure. For sure. Should I pick up Wandale? Jay, you can, but he just doesn't score a lot of touchdowns, so I don't think I would pick up Wandale. Pickens or McMillan. I probably would play Pickens just with CeeDee Lamb hurt. Dobbins or Jacobs. I'd go Jacobs. We looked at that one a little bit earlier, but I think I'll go Jacobs. Guys, if we hit 100 likes yet, we got to be close. We got to be so close. Chase Brown or Trey Benson. I would go with Trey Benson. Kelsey or Hunter Henry. I'd go Hunter Henry. Diggs, Fannin, Marks, or Harvey. Wow, that is tough. I probably would go Fannin. I'm 0-3. I just traded London and Sutton for Jacobs and Ridley. Am I cooked? Man, I don't love that trade. I think you could have done a little bit better, but I think that you have a chance. Over 100. Thank you, John. Thank you, Ruben. Golden or Ridley. I probably would go Golden. George Pickens or Jalen Warren in the flex. I probably would go with George Pickens just because CeeDee Lamb is out. Let's finish up the game by game, and then we'll crush it with some starts and sit questions. So I'm going to do the next 3 games rapid fire and get to your questions, guys. If you could hit that like, subscribe. Let's get these last 3 games done with. Packers and Cowboys, game of the week. Let's be honest. Packers, now Micah Parsons. Cowboys, I think I'm trying to sit everybody on this Cowboys team pretty much, honestly. Really, almost everybody. George Pickens and Jake Ferguson. Jake Ferguson, tight end 1 for the week, guys. He had 14 targets. We got to look at Jake Ferguson here. Jake Ferguson, he was just so dang good last week. Look at this. 13 receptions, 82 yards on 14 targets. Got to start Jake Ferguson this week. Must start. And look at the schedule. Absolutely elite for quite some time. So absolutely love Jake Ferguson. George Pickens is a start. Dak, I'm going to sit for sure. He hasn't been good. Javonte, you can sit if you have other good options. On the Packers side, let's check out Matthew Golden. I want to kind of look at him a little bit closer this week because he hasn't been good. He hasn't been good yet, but let's look at the targets. The snaps have increased every week. That's a great sign for Golden. The route percentage has increased every week. That's a great sign for Golden. The targets went up as well. I'm not saying you got to rush him into your lineup, but this could be the breakout game. So I do like Golden. If you can trade for him, I definitely would. When you see someone's snap share and target share and route percentage increasing every single week, especially for a rookie, I think that's a great guy to get for your team. And the schedule's not bad. He does play Denver week 15, but week 16 Chicago, week 17 Baltimore. So I do like Matthew Golden as well. Tucker Kraft is a fine start. Josh Jacobs is an amazing start. Amazing start for Josh Jacobs. Next game is Jets and Dolphins. You have to start Garrett Wilson. He's been really elite recently, especially with Tyrod Taylor. Love Garrett Wilson this year, so great start there. Breece Hall, okay start. Not super exciting, but not too bad either. On the Dolphins side of the ball, I think your Tyreek and your Achane are your definite starts, and then Jalen Waddle is a flex for those games. And let's just talk Bengals-Broncos, last game of the week. I'm going to sit T. Higgins for sure if you can afford it. I'm going to sit Chase Brown for sure if you can afford it. I'm definitely going to sit Jake Browning for sure if you can afford it. The only Bengal I want to start is Jamar Chase. I'm not super excited about it either with Pat Surtain on the other side, but Jamar Chase will see just enough targets to score you 10 points almost for sure, and then hopefully he can get that touchdown, get that big play. So Jamar Chase is the only person on the Bengals I think you should even think about starting. On the Broncos, opposite story. I think Courtland Sutton is an amazing start and has to be in lineups this week. He's been good. He's been really good. Week 1, he had 18 points. Week 3, he had 23 points. And week 2, he faced the Colts. The Colts take away the number 1 wide receiver, so you don't really have to count that one. So absolutely elite. I love the matchup. Everything's pointing to a great week for Courtland Sutton. Dobbins is a great start as well. I would not start Troy Franklin. So the main starts here are Sutton, Dobbins, and Bo Nix against the Bengals. All right, guys. We closed out there with all of the starts and sits. So now the last thing we have to do is close out with the YouTube questions. So we got about 9 minutes, 8 minutes. We'll go here. We're going to do your YouTube questions. If you guys could, again, hit that like button. I know so many of you have. We have broken the record for the year. you guys could add on to the record. I'd appreciate that. Let's answer some of your questions. And you guys definitely, hey, if I answer your question, you got to hit that like button as well. Swift or Chase Brown? I would go with Swift this week. It's a tough one. Swift, let's see here. Scadaboo or London? I think you can start Scadaboo, a little bit safer. Do I trade Bucky, Rome, Bateman for Chase, Golden, Hollywood? I wouldn't. Hollywood's value is going down with Rashee Rice coming back and Xavier Worthy coming back. Golden, I think he's good. I like him. Chase, but he doesn't have Joe Burrow. But Bucky's great. Rome Odunze's great. So I wouldn't do that. Let's see here. This person, Skull Nation, says they just got Brian Thomas Jr. for Kyle Pitts and Xavier Worthy. That's a great play. I think Brian Thomas Jr. is due for a bounce back. Kareem Hunt, T, or Chase Brown start two. I think I'm going to go Kareem Hunt this week, and I think I would go Chase Brown. I think T is the must-sit of that group. Pearsall or Trey Tucker. If Pearsall plays, I would play Pearsall. Should we hold or trade Chase Brown? I think if you can trade him away for something good, I'd trade him as soon as possible. Keep in mind the schedule does get a lot easier for Chase Brown. Now, let me show you the schedule real quick, guys. If you don't have the Walter Picks app, make sure you do. And if you don't have the premium, make sure you grab the premium with the free trial with code NOBS. It's a great way to get you set up for this week. The schedule does get a lot easier for the Bengals. That's why we love this drafting these guys. But I think I would have to sit Chase Brown most weeks if you can. But I don't think I'd trade him away unless you can get something good in return. Just traded Amon-Ra, Higgins, and Pacheco to get Hampton, Roman, Ladd. Ben, you definitely cooked, man. That's an insane trade in your favor. Pick one. Pitts, Jake Ferguson, Dallas Goedert, Orlando. You got to play Jake Ferguson. He had 14 targets last week. Trade Pearsall for Judkins. Eric, I would. I love Pearsall, but I think Judkins even better. Should I trade Chase Brown, Adams, and Ridley for McConkey and Irving? I would do that as well. I think that's a good trade. A.J. Brown or Golden this week, I'd go A.J. Brown. By the way, guys, if I answer your question, make sure you like the stream, guys. Make sure you like the stream here. Help me out. Kareem Hunt or Swift? I would go with Swift this week. Who should I start? Jackson Dart or Spencer Rattler? I'll go Jackson Dart. First game, a little bit harder to prepare for. Gordon or Merritt to start? Ollie Gordon or Bill Krosky Merritt? I'd go Bill, probably. Pickens or Hill? I'd go Hill, I think. Is Terry's injury a major concern? Not super major. I think if he plays, he's fine. I just think Mariota is the more major concern for the pass game. Jamar Chase, Jacoby Myers, or Matthew Golden to start. I think Jacoby Myers is the best start of the group there. London or McMillan? I would go London, personally. Aomanor or Higgins? Cole, I would go Aomanor. He's been better. Let's just call it what it is. He's been better. And it's week 3. You no longer need to count name value or draft value. It's just who's been better. Aomanor has been better, and they finally have an easier matchup. The Titans started off with a gauntlet of tough defenses. Who should I trade Jamar Chase for? Ruben, you just got to go around your team. Look for the person that needs a wide receiver the most and try to take their best running back. And when they decline the trade, try to take their second best running back. So that's what I would do. Start Trey Tucker. I think you can. Flex Jennings or Cremont. I'd go Jennings. He was pretty good. Let me just check here with Jennings. Jennings, he was good week 1 or week 2, I think. Let's double check Jennings. He was pretty good. Yeah, 19 points. So yeah, I'd go Jennings for sure. Is it wise to roster handcuffs? Troy says. Troy, I think it is okay to roster handcuffs, certain handcuffs, like Tyler Algier, DJ Giddens could be a great handcuff to have. Guys that have a clear handcuff are definitely good to roster. DJ Moore or Trey Tucker? I would go Trey Tucker probably. Geno or Love? I'd probably go Geno. The Packers offense hasn't looked amazing, honestly. They haven't been putting teams away. You know, they're winning 17-0 in the fourth quarter. The team scores a touchdown. Suddenly we got a game. So I think I would sit Love. They haven't been doing that great. Do I trade Kamara? I wouldn't trade Kamara, guys. The problem with trading Kamara now is he hasn't been that good. And he hasn't been getting the targets. We looked at that as we went through game by game. 1 catch last week. That's just not going to be good enough. Start one, Myers, BTJ or McMillan. Well, let's go Myers. Trade Pearsall for Kamara. I don't think I would. I think Pearsall is going to be better. Rank these 3. Trade Benson, Breece Hall, Jordan Mason. I'd probably go Benson, Mason, Hall, to be honest. I think Benson's going to eat. Guys, we got just a couple minutes left. If you guys want to hang out, I want to keep answering your questions. If you could, hit that like. We got 3 minutes left, guys. So hang out to the end if you could. Let's close it out strong. Hit that subscribe. We got content to you coming every day, and we're going to close it out 3 minutes straight of answering your questions. Should I drop Charbonnet for Marks? I think I'd trade Charbonnet before I drop him. 2-for-1 to the guy that has Kenneth Walker. Try to get like a better flex for your team. Dak or Bryce Young this week, I'd honestly go with Bryce Young. I don't think Dak's going to be any good against the Packers. Torrey Horton or Jordan Addison, I probably would go with Jordan Addison. Dak or Geno, I go Geno. Let's talk defense. Yeah, let's talk some defense. Defense of the week, guys. Defense of the week is the Detroit Lions. They were on waivers in a lot of leagues as well. If they are available in your league, they are the must add. This week they're facing Cleveland. Amazing defense to play against, or amazing matchup. Next week they play the Bengals. So the Detroit Lions are going to be good for you for 2 straight weeks. Pats or Seahawks, I would go with the Seahawks defense. I like the Seahawks defense against the Cardinals. I like Benson a lot, but I still like the Seahawks. Seahawks or Texans, I'll go Seahawks. Vikings repeat. I've got the Vikings as my number 5 or number 6 defense of the week. I'm a Steelers fan. You see my Steelers terrible towel, my Funko Pop, my jersey. I still think, I'll admit, the Steelers offense has not looked great. So I think the Vikings do have a great week this week. 109 likes, 3 minutes to get more, guys. Come on, John. I appreciate it, John. Let's try it, guys. Can we get to 125? I think we have enough people in the stream that have not liked it to get to 125 likes. Let's see if we can do that. That'd be awesome. Packers or Chargers? The Chargers are my number 2 defense of the week. So I love the Chargers. Love the Chargers. Packers or Chargers? Packers, like, I wouldn't drop anybody to add the Chargers if you have the Packers, though. Fields or Williams? I think you got to go Williams. Williams has been too good. Addison or Judkins at the flex? I would go with Judkins for sure. Pick 2, Amanor, Golden, Tyquan Thornton, Okonkwo. I'm dropping Hunter. Yeah, I would drop Hunter. I think I would go with Amanor. Man, if you want to go big, if you want to go safe, go Amanor and Thornton. If you want to go big, go Golden and Thornton. I think Golden is due for a breakout. Knicks or Wentz? I go Knicks. I like the matchup. Jags or Ravens defense? Ravens have a tough matchup against the Chiefs, and the Jaguars have the 49. I probably play. That's really bad, man. Can you go neither? I mean, those aren't good matchups, I don't think, Chris. I think there's got to be better options for you, but I would probably go with the Jags, I guess. Best defense, Rams, Cardinals, Bucks. I'd go the Rams, I think. I'd go the Rams. Trade Kamara for Pearsall. I would do that. Wicks, Thornton, Shaheed. I'd go Thornton. Kicker of the week, Orlando. Kicker of the week. Number 1, Will Lutz. Great kicker to add. Defense and kickers stack. They have a stacking component just like quarterbacks and wide receivers. So I think the Denver Broncos defense crutches Will Lutz for the Broncos. I think Will Reichard for the Vikings is a good add. Joey Sly has been amazing for the Titans as well. So those are 3 great waiver adds. The number 1 is Spencer Schrader of the Colts. So those are 4 potential waiver add kickers that I love in this order. Spencer Schultz, or not Spencer, what's his name? Spencer Schrader, Will Reichard, Joey Sly, and then Will Lutz as your options from the waiver wire. Start Christian Kirk or Trey Tucker. I'd go Trey Tucker. Mason or McConkey. I'd go Mason. Myers or Hubbard. I'd go Myers. Who can I get for Breece Hall? Wait till he has the first big week, guys. You can't really trade away players that have just been average and expect a good return at all. Let's see here. Haskins or Justice Hill. I'd go Haskins. Trade Nico Collins for Hampton. If you need a running back and you have a good wide receiver to replace them, that's fine. Montgomery or Hunt. I would go Hunt. I just don't think Montgomery's going to be any good. You take the Seahawks over Cardinals. Yes. Texans over Titans. I had the, in terms of game, I think the Titans will, I don't know. I'm not the person to ask. I live in Nashville, so I'm really rooting for the Titans. But the Titans is defense 8 and Houston is defense 9. Shaheed or Wicks. I'd go Shaheed. All right, guys, that is our time for tonight. I appreciate you dropping by, hitting that like button, hit that subscribe as well. I apologize that I was a couple minutes late, which we're really trying not to make that happen next week. And the mic issues for those of you who stuck around the whole time. Absolutely incredible support. I appreciate you guys on the likes. I appreciate on the subscribes. Make sure you grab the Walter Picks app. You get a free trial with my code NOBS so you can try all the best features. And if I did not get to your question, stop by the TikTok tomorrow. I answer all the questions in the first 10 minutes of comments on NoBS or the Walter Picks page. So drop any of your starts that's there, or you can use the Walter Picks app. You can sync your league. So I'll just sync this Cape Cod league. Super easy here. I'll head back here. You go into the My Team tool, and you can sort by best projection, highest boom, lowest bust, or your current lineup, and it'll give you start sit answers as well. We've got the Trade Analyzer as well to help you out there. Trade Finder, Trade Analyzer to help you out with any of your trade starts. So I'm on the projections team, so I help with all these rankings as well. All right, guys, have a great night. I will see you guys in the next one. Avery will be here tomorrow. Sam will be here Sunday. Make sure you subscribe.